Well, Flockers, welcome back to another episode of Between Two Cars. If you notice, there's only one car in the garage right now, and that is the Mustang. And that is for two reasons. One, I'm getting the car ready for Texas 2K. If everything goes well, I will be able to bring this thing out there and have some serious fun. Show a lot of people that haven't ever seen my car before the car. It'd be nice to meet you guys. When I went out there in October for the Drift and Drag event, hosted by Quiet, a lot of people were asking where my cars were, and it was also really short notice of me going to Texas. So yeah, this time around, I have a month to plan, and I have been working on this thing nonstop. I know you guys want more Between Two Cars and stuff, but I have been getting this thing ready, and I'm a one-man show. As much as a lot of people like to, say that I don't work on my own cars and stuff, this car hasn't been to a shop in years. So everything that needs to be serviced, everything that needs to be done, all the new parts I've thrown on, one-man show. Brian moved a little bit further away, so he's not as helpful anymore. But yes, I have been getting this car ready. And so there are still a few more things I want to do, and we're going to just talk about this car in general and maybe some Texas 2K and just hang out. But first things first, if you haven't seen the main channel video of me working on this car, I did a few things, and we'll go over those things. One of the first things I did was I bled and flushed the whole braking system. This is really important. If you're new to cars, you want your fluids to be changed pretty regularly, especially if it's a performance setup, because the fluids will boil, they'll get dirty, they're just gonna lose their structural capabilities to perform as if they are new fluids. And certain fluids also boil at different temperatures, whether you use .3, .4, .5. I think I used .4 max, and some people, wherever it is, some people were crying to me, that's buried in there, that I should just go with .5. .4 max and .5 have the same boiling temp, and it's technically .5.1, but I know. .4 and .5, they both boil at 500 degrees. .4 max, that is. .4 basic will boil at 450, so still only 50 degrees difference, but regardless, .4 max went into this car and it went into the ZR1, and they both feel great right now. So flushed out all the brakes. I'm actually going to probably do it again. Let me explain. I ordered higher temperature brake pads. This way, after doing repeated runs, my brakes will not fade. These currently are set up for 600 degrees. The ones I ordered are for 800 degrees. So they do sell some for 1,000 degrees, but the higher you go, the worse your daily driving trade-off is going to be. It's probably going to squeal, it's probably going to not be very fun to drive, and it's going to feel like shit at lower temperatures. You need to get those bitches hot for them to work. So braking system wise, we got new fluid and new pads going in. New fluid's already in, new pads are on their way. Let's talk about wheels and tires. So I recently swapped out, hopefully you guys can still see me, to my ET Street Rs. Why did I do this? Two reasons. One, my ET Radio Pros were a little on the balder side. They had a little bit of life in them, but I don't know how they would have held up in Texas. But two, the main thing was I wanted less tire wall and less rake. Let me explain that really quick. Essentially, I do have a car right here. This is perfect. Essentially, the way suspension and weight transfer works in rear-wheel drive vehicles is if the car is driving flat like this, when you get on it, all the weight will shift and it'll slightly pick up depending on how much horsepower you have. With the Mustang, it has a decent amount, and I had a pretty fat tire on the rear, so it would need to work past all of that rake before I get actual positive weight transfer into the rear. Now, theoretically, the way it's set up, if I gun it and it squats, I will have quicker weight transfer to the rear, therefore better traction and better maintained traction. So this sidewall in the rear is 2 inches smaller than the Radio Pros, and although the Radio Pros hooked, if these hook, it will be faster. Flat out, that's just the way it works. Because these are smaller tires. They are spinning faster than the Radio Pros. The best way I could explain this is, let's look at this disc really quick, this angle grinding disc. Let's pick 2 points on it, okay? Let's pick the outermost edge and halfway through. If I spin this on my finger, if I spin it on my finger, the outermost edge is spinning slower than inside because this goes around much quicker than this. Does that make sense? Maybe, sort of, maybe not. Point is, the smaller the tire, the faster it can spin because it's smaller. It's the same reason with pulleys. If you have a small supercharger pulley, it spins faster. It spins faster, and then you're faster. If you have a bigger one, it spins slower, and you're slower. Let me just check my phone. Let me see if my girlfriend's okay. Anyways, she's fine. So, in theory, if everything hooks and books the way it should, then we are good back there. Also, what I did, and you can see this in the main channel video, is I put hub-centric custom wheel spacers in the rear. So before, I used to run just these generic AutoZone wheel spacers. They're like 8 millimeters, and essentially they would just float on the hub. I swapped these out for some custom ones. We measured my hub, we measured the wheel hub, we got a piece that makes them so they made up really nice, and this will eliminate a lot of rotational mass and vibration mainly. I'm about to sneeze. Headphone users beware. That was a pretty good one. But yes, so we did that also on the rear. The front is already hub-centric. The rears are not. So the hubs on the front are perfectly on top of the wheels, and it's great. Is this going to spin? Okay, it does. All right, wheels-wise, I think that's done. We also added some bump stops in the rear. I trimmed down factory bump stops a little bit. It wasn't running any bump stops in the rear, which was weird. I think they took them off when they did my whole like Cortex rear end and stuff. I feel like that might have been a minor issue, so the bump stop should help work as like another cushion, another spring when it squats. We'll see. If I have to trim it a little bit more, I will, because they do sit fairly close to the rear end. But that will be a test and tune situation. Once it stops raining outside, I can go do some hits. All right, let's move on to some other things. In the recent video where I installed the wheels, I went out and tested the vehicle, and I noticed that up top, it felt like the car was losing power. I have two theories for this, and I have not tested either of them yet. Theory numero uno. My fuel system was clogged, and it was struggling to get fuel up top. It didn't sound like it was misfiring, it just sounded like it was running out of steam up top. Now, I cleaned the whole fuel system. We got new fuel socks, we got a clean fuel filter, and cleaned injectors with new seals and everything. So the whole fuel system has been serviced, and that should be running at 110% now, should be running beautifully. But that isn't the only question that comes to mind. Question number two, it was a really cold night. So hypothetically, if my fuel system is somewhat maxed out, hypothetically, the colder the night, the more dense the air, the more fuel is needed to compensate for it, for the super low intake air temps. So therefore, my fuel system could have just been struggling because it was super cold out and my car was creating more boost than the car knew what to do with. So I haven't confirmed nor denied either theory, but still good practice to clean the fuel system. So we did all that. Now I know for sure my fuel system is going to be running real rich, not rich, but real healthy. And that's all going to be good. I'm not going to change any of the coolant or the fluids. I don't think I have nearly enough miles on it to do that. And I did just do the supercharger fluid not too long ago, like the coolant fluid for it. So we're not going to touch that. I cleaned my intake filter, and if you saw my recent TikTok and or Instagram reel, I also made a custom air duct. Some people don't like it. Some people think it's tacky. Let me show you guys really quick just in case you missed all that. I didn't throw this into the YouTube video, so if you don't follow me on Instagram or TikTok, you're not going to see it. So I'll just show you guys really quick. You guys get special behind the scenes stuff. Essentially, this is my intake system. So I have a closed lid air box, and the whole front portion was cut. I believe that's just how it comes. I don't think anyone cut it. I didn't cut it. I think that's how it comes. It's cut so that way air can obviously get in. I don't know if you guys could see that. There's the filter right there. Anyways, well, where does the air come from? Typically, the air just comes from ambient air bay temperatures, which creates hotter intake air temps. No bueno. Recently, though, I made this duct. I know it's not the prettiest thing ever, and it feeds straight through here, and it goes all the way. So you really cannot see it. It is super low key. You cannot see it at all, but at the right angles and stuff. Like if the intake filter wasn't on, you could see straight through. But since it's on, it's kind of like blocking it so you can't see the light. But it goes straight into there. It's 4-inch diameter. It is crushed a little bit by the ABS sensor. A lot of people were saying that the ABS sensor or ABS module, my bad, the ABS stuff should be deleted. And I do plan on deleting it, but even still, there's still going to be the lines here. So I don't know if it's really worth it. So that, in theory, should also help with cooler temperatures. Scam likely, get out of here. Anyways, that in theory should help with cooler temperatures. So overall, I think that's a win. It's science. It's going to work. Some people were complaining about potential bugs. The S650 has these exact things from factory. So yeah. Anyways, let's go ahead and put you guys back up on here, because that was another little thing that we did in order to just prepare the car a little bit more. And I think it's going to work splendid. So we did that. If you want to see the whole video of how I made that, go check out my TikTok. I made a longer video there than on my Instagram. But that was made. What else did we do? I still need to check spark. I want to just check my plugs and make sure they don't look cooked or anything like that. I still need to check that. Oh, this was a big thing we did. We changed out, we as in me, I don't know why I said we. I changed out my Harmonic balancer. So I had the stock one. I don't really want to touch it. It's dirty and my hands are clean. Let me put on a glove. I changed out my stock Harmonic balancer, which is right here. And it is a heavy mamma jamma. This bitch right here weighs 15 pounds. It looks like cast iron. It's got cast iron and some other pieces on it. It's pretty gross looking. It is just straight up metal. Like, it is not anything special. I changed that out for a fluid dampener. It's not 100% necessary on a car with a Coyote because Coyotes are apparently neutral balanced. However, the biggest benefit of me changing it out is that bitch weighs 15 pounds. The fluid dampener I have weighs 10 pounds. So I shaved 5 pounds of rotational mass right off the crank. That alone I think is worth it, but yeah, also the added benefit of the balancing and the harmonics and stuff like that, also good. Got a new crank bolt as well for that, so that is going to be probably the most exciting thing once I turn this thing on. I haven't turned it on yet because it's been raining and I haven't really felt like it. So I've just been servicing it, cleaning everything, getting everything pretty, getting her ready. A couple more things I did. I added wheel liners finally. I didn't have wheel liners ever since I installed these vents. I never had any. I installed wheel liners. I cut vents into them so if air gets in here, they will quickly come out of the vents. And yeah, I did that on both sides. What else? I added the Vector 2 tail lights. A lot of people were upset about the S650s. So then I swapped them out to the stock ones just to show you guys I like the S650s. And then I swapped them back out to the Vector V2s. And so now we have S550 style taillights. And so far, everyone's been saying that those are their favorites. So I already answered this question on my Instagram or on my TikTok. I don't care what people think, but at the same time, I'm trying to make you guys like the car as well. Like, you know, happy wife, happy life. And you guys are my wife. What is going on up here? Ultimately, I don't care which taillight I run. I think they all look fine in my opinion. I like the S650 ones. I like the S550 ones. And I like the stock ones. I think they all look good. So I don't really care. It's a win-win for me. What else do I need to do, or what else did I do? I need to do a full nut and bolt check, and I also plan on building somewhat of a front air dam or something underneath the car. I don't want to go too crazy because I don't want to create downforce up front, but I do want to block off like a lot of this open area. Like there's open ducts right here that just allows air to go under the car. I think at least blocking those off would be a smart move, but also just in front of the front wheels, it's just all open space. And what that does is that's a negative pressure. So when you're driving, air sucks up into there. So I don't know if I want to do that. I don't know if I want to create downforce or anything like that, because it'll definitely do it. I have thick gauge aluminum that will make a solid floor pan and Yeah, it'll be pretty tough. It'll be a pretty tough bitch. I need to touch up the wrap in some spots before we go. There's a lot of little tiny bubbles. I'm going to do that after I wash the car, probably tomorrow. No point in touching it while it's dirty. But yeah, for the most part, it's just been a lot of prep because I don't want any issues there. And I think that's the smartest thing to do before a big race event. Go over the whole car. Check all of your little corners and make sure that there's nothing that can go wrong. Do all of your basic checks. That is as if the car was broken. Check spark, check fuel, check air, check electric, check power, check starter, check trans, check fluids. You got to check all that shit. So another thing I need to do is I need to order some new relays. For some reason, my PCM keeps shutting off. Apparently, it could be because of heat. It is kind of close to my headers. My headers are heat wrapped though, so I don't know, but we'll have to see. I'm gonna order some new ones. I wrapped the box with some gold wrap. You guys can't see it. So hopefully that helps distribute the heat away from it. I think it will, because that's what it's for, so we'll have to see. But yeah, for the most part, I think she's pretty ready. Like I said, I think she's gonna be a different kind of animal right now when I get her turned back on. I think she's gonna be kind of scary. I think the 5 pounds less on the crank is big. I think the tire and the hubs is big. I think the bump stops and the suspension dialing in is big. I think it's going to be pretty scary. I mean, look at these Keltrack long travel coils. Like, look at this shit. This is crazy. Absolutely crazy. We'll have to see. But yeah, I'm excited for Texas 2K. I'm going out because Monday Night Madness, I believe is the name of my boy's page. I'm not from Texas, but he hosts large car events, legal car events, anti-takeover, you know, like safe, legal, all that stuff. He hosts big events. He's a really cool guy, and he called me the other day and was like, hey, what are your plans for Texas 2K? And I was like, nothing. I don't really plan on going. And he was like, well, if we fly you out, are you down to go? And I was like, how about this? Just fly out the car. I'll get there. I'll buy my stuff, fly out the car. Like, let's get the car out there. Let's transport it. That way, you guys will have content. I'll have content. Everyone will be happy. And so that's kind of the plan right now. But yeah, like I said, I just really want the car to be looking and running at 110%. That way, no issues arise, because that would suck if I'm out there and something bad happens. Knock on wood. Okay. I don't think anything will, but knock on wood. I'm really excited though. It'll be my second time in Texas. Everyone that I met down there last time was so cool. Like, I'm seriously contemplating moving to Texas. I don't know if that upsets some of you guys, but I genuinely like Texas that much that I would be down to move down there. So we'll have to see. I'm gonna actually talk to them a little bit this time around, because I just think I'd have more fun there, you know? Like, I like SoCal, don't get me wrong, but God, Texas is just like, it's cooler, you know? Like, I'm into firearms, I'm into cars. Texas sounds like the place for me. I do like the ocean though, so, and I don't think the ocean is very close to Dallas. So we'll have to see about that. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, we'll see. This time around, me and Mammy are staying for like a couple extra days. So we'll see if you know, we end up, what's it called? Like liking it a little bit more, kind of doing like a little mini vacation, a little mini test in the waters. The only two major things keeping me from moving is obviously all of my friends are here, which would suck because I wouldn't want to lose all my friends. Not lose them, but you know, like not see them often. I wouldn't want that. And two, my family. All my family's out here, so same thing. I wouldn't want to just ditch them and shit. So those are like the two big things that are like stopping me. But other than that, I mean, yeah, I think for car scene, for content, for, you know, new opportunities, I like the idea. So we'll have to see. But yeah, the car is looking good. It's going to be running good. I hope to see you guys there. I know this might be a little bit on the shorter side of me talking about stuff. It's not really a rant. I just wanted to go over some stuff with you guys. And, you know, in case you're prepping on getting your car ready or something, these are some things that I would recommend doing if I were you. So go ahead and use my list of stuff. But anyways, hopefully you guys did enjoy this video. I will do a proper rant for the next video. So stay tuned. We will be ranting in, well, for me, about 5 minutes. Anyways, deuces. Hope to see you guys in Texas.